Hey guys, welcome to Kumo Talks today. I am joined by Raza here. His name is Ray, but we call him Raza around here. So, Raza, how did we meet?
We met through an app called Whatnot.
Whatnot.
We have a. Remember, we had a big fan. We're big fans of retro games.
Yeah.
And that's probably one of the best ways to kind of get and buy and sell and discover retro games. But I think the thing that probably makes Whatnot like really valuable is just meeting the cool sellers, right?
I agree.
Meeting the community, feeling in place, realizing yes, we're gaming nerds, and after that we can still kind of do our thing. So yeah, we met through there, and I think I bought like a bunch of guides from you.
Yeah, he bought a bunch of just strategy
I
guides.
nearly serenaded you over chat, something over there.
Yeah, something like that. Something happened like that.
Yeah.
But while meeting each other, I found out that Raza was actually in the gaming industry and was very much a part of it, which was really fascinating. Definitely one of the questions that I had when I met you was, how did you get into the industry? Or kind of explain a little bit about like what exactly you do.
Yeah, so gaming, I've always been into gaming, and I started even as a kid when I was like a 12-year-old. I decided to write gaming reviews for a site called World of Nintendo. Long time ago. And the cool part about doing that is I realized I can get free games out of it. So like being in like high school and not having enough money to buy these games, I get these free games. So I get to review them, write about them, and eventually started a career in gaming journalism. So I worked with a bunch of Nintendo sites. One of the ones that was early on was Nintendojo. It was one of those classic Nintendo sites. So I did news and reviews over there. Worked for Funcoland, a big retail game store. Did some marketing gigs for like Sega, Konami, Raptor, and obviously now EA. But I think it was a combination of just having the passion for just retro games. I always found I didn't go exactly to school. It's like you can like go to school.
Yeah, that was going to be one of my questions. Did you like go to school to try to learn about this?
No, so I didn't. I graduated with a management information systems degree. It's a combo of like business and like IT. But we're in a tech space, but we're in the Bay Area, so Silicon Valley. Yeah. And that's kind of like how you like build just relationships, right?
Yeah.
So writing for different few game sites. I did some stuff with GameSpot. I did some stuff with. I even started a gaming company called The Cartel.
The Cartel?
Where we try to create features and editorials that people normally wouldn't write about. Like I'd write about gaming parties I'd go to. I'd write about like, you know, that one really snarky, funny, memorable guy that worked in the industry and like, you know, diving deeper on his bio. But working in gaming journalism, and I think that one thing you really see now with a lot of game journalists is naturally you meet a lot of PR people. You find ways to build relationships. You find ways to tell stories as a journalist, and that's kind of what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a little bit more, be open, to be a little bit more social, kind of talk with people in the gaming industry, and that's kind of how I started making relationships, and after that now in a career of gaming PR.
Interesting. And yeah, that's one of the things that I definitely, when I found out that you were in the industry, I was super curious. I was definitely super interested in finding out more about what exactly you did. But it's interesting that you started off by doing journalism and stuff like that. What would you say would be like that first break that you got into like?
So what I didn't mention is one of the first things that get people into the gaming industry, and cheers, by the way.
Cheers. Yeah,
I got a black.
By the way, we're
here.
actually in Epcot. We're shooting this in Epcot.
No, we're in London. What are you talking about?
Yeah, my bad. We're in London. But we're just going to be sampling things and trying different things while we have this discussion. But so yeah, what was the first break?
So
cheers.
So anybody who wants to go into the gaming industry, yeah, so good for
I know, this is delicious.
Is QA, game testing.
Oh, really?
If you have just any sort of like interest in getting into the gaming industry, especially working for a gaming company, I actually worked as a recruiter, recruiting for game testers. But if you play a lot of games and you kind of understand like what a bug is and kind of how to find it, and writing good enough to go ahead and explain to someone how to find it again, game testing is the way that you would do it.
To break into the industry?
Exactly.
Interesting.
Like if you hear the word like producer, I want to be a producer for a game.
Which is interesting because that was one of the questions that I had today. So one of the questions I had was, for example, somebody trying to break into that kind of industry, you think that would be the best way for somebody to get into the industry?
Absolutely.
Interesting.
Like there isn't any like prerequisites or anything other than just being a gamer, being able to like write, well not write, but type decently fast enough and grammatically correct so you can tell people where to find a bug.
Okay, okay.
But the biggest thing that you would normally do to kind of work in as a QA tester, quality assurance tester, is you play random games. You can enjoy playing them for a long period of time, and you find crazy ways to break it, right? They try to run through walls. You go ahead and try to shoot at like someone's foot. Maybe it turns blue, and that's not supposed to happen.
Okay.
Then you have to write it down, tell the devs, the developers of the game, how to recreate that particular bug.
Yeah.
And that makes the game better. That's what makes it more polished, and that's what makes it more ready to launch. So that would be like the way that I'd recommend people who just play a lot of games but want to get into the industry.
Yeah.
I've seen people from being QA testers all the way to like production assistants, producers, game design, and that's just their way to get foot in the door.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a lot of hours. Yes, there's like 40 to 100 hours that people can spend depending on the company they're working on. But companies like EA, companies like Activision, companies like Namco Bandai, especially if you love like a certain genre, imagine playing the game that you love.
And then you're getting kind of paid for it?
You're getting paid pretty well for it. Got paid pretty well in college for doing it, just long hours. But now I have kids and maybe I can't do those long hours
anymore.
But yes, that would probably be the best way to kind of do it, especially if you love the company that you're working for.
Yeah.
And you really know that you have an effect on the actual game. You show up in the game credits. You go ahead and say, by being a game tester, I'm the best in the world because there's no one else playing this game.
Yeah.
That'd be like the way to kind of get going.
That's super interesting. I actually wouldn't have thought about QA being the way to get into it. That's super interesting. What about
gaming retail in some ways as well?
Okay.
But gaming retail is like dime a dozen, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's like so many variations.
You might meet someone when you're selling games that, hey, I'm looking for someone who does this.
Yeah.
Right? And there's like artists. Artists, it's really hard because you have to show a nice portfolio of stuff.
For sure, yeah.
Marketing can transfer over to gaming, but I really think like if you know nothing and you just like video games and you're good at playing it, QA testing is probably the way to go.
That's very interesting. That is not what I would have expected, to be honest.
Yeah.
But super, super interesting. I know that you're currently working at EA. How did that go about? Like, how did you first get introduced to EA? Because EA is a huge company.
Right.
They make, all the sports games. They make so many games each year.
Yeah.
How did that go about?
I'm glad you asked because it's QA. I started in QA
with
EA.
EA itself.
Yeah.
Look at that.
There was a game called Ty the Tasmanian Tiger. That was the first game I ever worked on.
Oh, no, wait.
It was a kid's game. It's a kid's game combo with like a little GTA a free overworld kind of thing that you're going to go around, do missions. But I did QA for that when I was still in college. And after that, I made some connections. I worked game journalism, continued doing that, going to cool gaming events.
So you never stopped doing journalism while doing QA?
I stopped QA. I stopped gaming journalism when I did QA because we're supposed to stop and not like share secrets and stuff like that.
Okay.
So
that makes sense.
So I repeated and I still did game journalism for a bunch of gaming sites, mostly Nintendo, until through graduation. And you just build networks. You understand and meet a lot of PR managers.
Okay.
And the PR manager, just because I'm Filipino, and he was another Filipino dude working in the industry, and there's a guy named Gino Talons. I worked with really closely.
Okay. And
we just connected, saw each other at each events. He'd invite each other to events for me. The first one he actually introduced me to, first event he brought me to was Dead Space. Dead Space 1, which just released right now recently on the next generation consoles.
Just came out remade, right?
Just came out yesterday.
Yeah, I did.
Well, whenever you release this, I don't know when it's going to come out.
It was yesterday from today.
But contacted him, and after that, I actually went back to EA doing marketing for Battlefield. And
that was one of my favorite franchises.
And at some point, like he said, hey, I have an opening in the PR space. I definitely wanted to jump into that as much as I could.
Yeah.
And it was just easier, right? I've known him for like 15 plus years. He knew that I knew some editors, gaming journalists.
Okay.
And now I'm on the opposite end. I'm pitching to them. I'm telling them what's cool about our games and just helping tell a story, but doing it from the big corporate level side as opposed to the game journalism side or quality control. Yeah.
Interesting. No, that's super, super cool. All right, so we're gonna go to a next location. So today we're gonna just kind of be testing and sampling different things. So
We just had fish and chips, but
Yeah, we
this
just
is
did
the
fish and
this is
chips.
the remainder of the
not-
fish and chips.
there-
It was
there's nothing
so
left.
good. That's what was the remainder.
We're gonna go somewhere else and try, and we're gonna continue the conversation. But yeah, today's what, the wine, the Festival of the Arts. So we're just kind of be trying things and trying new drinks and having this conversation. But yeah,
We're gonna get fuller and might be slurring our words a little bit more.
yeah.
as we
By
kinda
the
get through.
end, we might not make any sense, but you know, we're just getting here, okay? All right,
Well, sounds
so
good.
Let's go to the next one. Let's see
Where
what we got.
where are we going next? Actually, I don't know.
I don't know. We're just walking. So whatever we find, we're gonna just try.
Okay, all right, sounds good. We'll give it towards
Let's go.
Epcot. Let's get done. See ya.
All right, guys. We're back. Now we're here in the Colombian food, I think.
I think.
I think it's Colombian food. I don't know, but this empanada looks amazing.
Yes, we're gonna taste test.
All right,
this.
we're gonna do
Okay.
a quick little taste test before we get into a couple of the questions. So
Okay, fair enough.
let's
Fair enough.
try this.
All right, let's
try
do it.
this.
Do you remember what's in this
I
at all?
don't know. I'm just gonna bite.
We're just gonna bite. Okay.
Potatoes.
What do you think, Raza?
We got Chipotle. I don't know what the.
I don't know what the sauce is, but it's delicious.
It seems like it's mustard. It's not mustard sauce. It's like Chipotle, like mayo, mix of like. It looks like mustard, but it's not.
I don't know what it is, but it tastes so good.
Maybe a little bit of mayo. And like another type of Chipotle, but
I don't know what it is, but
it's great.
delicious.
Potato and pork. It always works great whenever you have drinks involved.
Here's another napkin.
No problem. We should have just. No, that's fine.
All right.
I could have kissed your cheek, and after that, it would have been fine for a napkin.
That would have been enough. All right.
That's fine.
Continuing with our conversation that we were having
Sure.
in London. We were
Yes.
in London.
We were in London. We had a teleporter. We saw Doctor Who, and here we are.
Here we are now.
We're now here in Colombia.
I have a question.
Sure.
What was your favorite and least favorite part about your job?
Oh damn, hard one.
We're going in.
Least favorite. Well, let's take a drink of this one first.
Okay,
a little
okay.
bit of alcohol to talk
do
about
that
that.
one?
Least favorite part of job. Right now, or just in general, ever?
Let's do in general and then
In ever.
and now.
In general, I would say situations that you wouldn't expect to come, and if like things breaking down, or we work with a lot of celebrities.
Okay.
Sometimes they do something that we just don't agree with, and we have to go in another direction. And we go in another direction, that means not talking to the celebrity, and after that, going something else. I think a little bit of that. When we're talking about QA testing, yes, it's a way to kind of get into the industry. Yes, it's awesome. It's a way to get into the industry.
Okay.
The bad thing is the long hours, and it's not a secret to a lot of people that you can be easily working 40 to 100 hours
100 hours.
for QA, and that works for just any gaming industry. But
I'm
it's a lot of it is optional at the end of the
Okay.
day. When you're working in college and you're trying to build up a name for yourself and do some things to kind of make some good money.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't say no to time and a
work.
half and double
Yeah.
overtime and stuff like that. You don't want to let your team down. So it depends, and places like EA do a good job of like making sure that they give you the opportunity to say no.
Okay.
But it's a very team-oriented environment that usually you work on video games. Just got to play a little more games
Yeah.
for a couple more hours for that day. And you say yes. So I'd say they're probably the least, right?
Yeah. What would be the least that you would say?
No, that was it. That was probably
That was the least, okay.
And that's just for EA. I think like all time, that's not even maybe related to EA.
Okay.
Tough one. I would probably say working with team members that I mean not even related to EA, just like working in a job where team members don't do what they're supposed to be doing.
Okay.
And sometimes you feel bad for the team that you just like, I have to go ahead and jump in and just do it for them. And it might not be necessarily your job. You just have to go ahead and just do it.
Otherwise, it won't get done.
Yeah, it just doesn't get done, and that looks bad on not only you but the whole team.
Okay.
So you kind of have to fix that. So that's probably say the least thing.
Okay.
And after that, the most memorable, or what was the question in terms of
The
most
other question I had: what was your favorite project that you have
favorite
worked
project?
on?
Oh, that one's easy.
I know you told me a couple of cool projects that you worked on.
That was a big thing. So the pandemic happened, right? The last 2
Yeah.
years. Thankfully, we're recovering from it now. But there's some really hard times. I was telling you that like I had my son at home, and I was working at home with a 1-year-old trying to get working at EA and doing PR and doing so many different games. EA was super gracious in giving us ways to calm down and take some time off.
Yeah.
But it was still busy, super stressful. So what one project that I worked on that really spoke to me a lot is every time my wife would come home, we would do like one of those WWF tag teams. We'd give like a quick hands a clap and be like, oh crap, like we're gonna work together and we're gonna like do this together and make sure that we're getting through the pandemic as best as we can.
Of course, yeah.
And I was working on a game called It Takes Two at that same time.
Hey.
And it kind of like had some sort of metaphorical thing where it's like, I looked about it and I'm like, okay, I'm working with my wife so much. Yes, it takes two for us. It was important because not only was it a game that we played and connected, and even during that pandemic, we connected and finished our own, but there is like some sort of like meaning that I wouldn't be able to have done it without my wife there to take care of the kid, to kind of make you feel at ease that like your work and your help was appreciated.
Yeah.
And we all know what happens. It Takes Two. Is it one game of the year at the Game Awards?
One game of the year. So.
And I was screaming when that happened on the stream. The rest is history. I'd probably say like by far. I mean, that's like the Oscars of video games.
Yeah,
and we're just
that
fortunate
game has
to
won so many awards. And I haven't had that chance to play. I did get the code for you, so I can't wait to play this with my girlfriend. But I did hear so many good things from so many different people, even people that we know personally that have told us that it's such an impactful and a really good game. Right. So I could definitely see why that was definitely one of your favorite projects, and I find it really fascinating that was one of the projects that you were a part of. I guess kind of leaning into that. Is there anything that maybe was surprising to you that you maybe learned throughout the years, or maybe something that happened that was surprising, I guess?
Yeah, I think surprising is just like when I was working as a game journalist, I worked with a lot of PR people, but yes, I mean EA is a big company. There's a lot of big companies out there that need PR people, and it was surprising that a relationship that I made with a PR manager at EA, even 15 years later, meant something, and that was the way I was able to get a foray into PR. Yeah, is through that person who was still at EA, still EA to this day.
Is there still?
He leads the EA original side, including It Takes Two. He was responsible for It Takes Two. We have a good game called Wild Hearts that's coming out pretty soon. It's kind of it's by the Tecmo people, kind of like a Monster Hunter style type of game.
I'll probably put footage of the game.
It's awesome, and he's still there. But it was just surprising, like the gaming industry is super duper small, just like it is in any entertainment industry.
You would consider the game
Don't burn bridges. I would consider it pretty small.
Interesting.
Especially you work in PR. Like all it takes is like one article to be about you, and you realize that like that article just lives on the internet forever, right? So don't burn bridges. Build and network as best as you can. But also make sure people remember certain things about you, because it makes it easier that when you contact them again, maybe it be for a job, maybe it be for like advice, like they will remember you for that one thing and ask themselves like, was this person good and valuable to me and memorable? And usually it'll help you in life.
Interesting. Wow. No, I find it really interesting that you said that like you would consider the game industry to be small, because from the perspective of somebody who isn't in the industry, to me it seems such a massive industry, considering like all these different companies and all these different things, companies that create games, and not only in the US but in different countries, Japan. Yeah. But that's super fascinating. So definitely don't burn bridges if you're trying to get into this industry. Yeah. Because people will know who you are. Yeah. All right. Well, I think this was delicious.
I say kill them with kindness. That's what I say a lot. Like if there's something that's happening that's like, take the higher road. Okay. Like just take that punch in the gut and know like, oh man, that sucked. But just know that, I feel karma is also a big thing. Kill them with kindness is like, you'll realize that like, okay, I was in that situation, it was bad. I kind of think like really bad situations that happen in your career, they happen for a reason. And after that, if it happens again, you look at it and be like, I got through this before. So it makes it a little bit easier to kind of get through it, and you'll do whatever you need to do to get through it. So, kill them with kindness.
Kill them with kindness. You heard that? Kill them with kindness. Don't make it a big thing where you're gonna take it too personal or anything like that.
Yeah.
So, no, I think that's a great advice.
Move forward, and people recognize it, and after that, they know that you've been, tired and true, and you've gotten through some of those things.
Yeah.
So.
No, I agree. I think that's a great advice.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even have to deal with gaming industry or anything. I feel like that's a great lesson to apply to anything you do in life.
Right.
Because you're at it, how you move forward and how you take things and the energy that you put out there will definitely impact.
Don't give too much energy to something that's negative.
Exactly.
Build in them positives, and after that, realize that I got through it. I'm keep on moving forward. You're not gonna take me down.
Exactly.
And you'll be to better places.
Oh man, cheers to that. I think
Cheers, man.
I like that.
Cheers, bro.
Cheers, man. All right, we're gonna. You know what? We're probably gonna move to another location after this because this was delicious, but there's so many foods around here.
Like pineapple, all that stuff.
That drink was good.
It's
I got
good.
some strawberry daiquiri. It's amazing.
Well, cheers. We'll see each
Cheers.
other in another country.
Japan, maybe?
So yeah.
We'll travel to Japan.
Okay. Where kindness is there.
Yeah, exactly.
About 5-star restaurant.
All right. We're
3-star.
Gusto's. All right, anyways, we're here at Ratatouille Live. We're currently waiting. But, let's kill some time. Let's ask some questions.
Let's talk. Get ready for the
We're just getting ready.
cuisine.
Raise up.
Sure.
You're a huge Warrior fan.
Yes,
How did that-
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
How did the love for Warriors, how did all this happen?
Basketball is my favorite sport of all time. I played basketball when I was a kid, and the Warriors were like the most fun to watch because they were about offense, scoring. There's this old team called Run TMC. It was Chris Mullin, Tim Hardaway, and Mitch Richmond. They were just so fun to watch.
Yeah.
It was like run and gun. Like they didn't care about playing defense, just scored a basketball.
Yeah.
And I became a season ticket holder about 20 years ago. The Warriors were not really a great team. Then after that, they had the biggest upset in playoff history by beating the Dallas Mavericks,
Oh, they did?
who were the best team in the NBA.
Okay.
And the Warriors were the team that barely made the playoffs on the last day, and they beat them.
And they did.
And before you know it, I'm obviously way before then I was a fan.
Yeah.
But that was one that probably got the Warriors on the map. And now they're winning now. Steph Curry.
Yeah,
And
no,
Steph Curry on the night.
Steph Curry be killing it.
Warrior.
I've seen that you've been you go to their games a lot. You're sometimes even on the court side.
Yeah.
How did that go about? I think you were telling me that you build a relationship.
Yeah,
there.
I had a relationship
How did that go
with
about?
GoldenStateOfMind.com. It was a top fan site.
What was it called?
GoldenStateOfMind.com.
GoldenStateOfMind.com.
Now it's where it works with SBNation.com right now.
Okay.
But did a lot of work there. Did some writing, did some coverage, and I just went to a lot of Warriors games. I went to 90% of games.
90%.
90% of games. Even if the Warriors were really,
90%.
really bad.
Yeah.
They're really bad. So that would be 40 games a year.
Yeah.
Give or take.
Yeah.
The Warriors are just really, really bad. And I thought I was able to make it just through.
You can talk. It don't matter. The mics will pick it up.
I was able to make it through. The Warriors, somehow broke through and became a team where you have this really cool
'cause
player called Steph Curry now is being the best shooter of all time.
Yeah, man. He's
And-
definitely elevated the team to a whole new level.
And I'm just even more rabid. Especially since you were there as a fan, since the very beginning, and now the successes they're having now.
Yeah.
It's let's let it ride. I didn't think the Warriors would ever win the championship ever.
Yeah,
I
really?
thought I was gonna die a fan for the Warriors are basically the thing I've rooted for the most and longest in my life. I thought I was gonna die like a dead old man and not have
And never
a
seen
fan.
them win a championship.
And I thought, speaking of championship, I actually got a championship ring. The Warriors gave me a championship ring.
They gave you an actual ring?
You have a championship ring. I got it last month.
I did see that you posted that.
Yeah.
How did that go about? Did you
Just working with the Warriors, and after that, limiting them to ring size and stuff like that, I kind of knew what was coming.
That's so cool.
And boom, I got one.
That's crazy. I did see that at one of your posts. I remember seeing in your story that you had a box. And it had all the different types of rings.
Yes.
Yeah.
Those are all fake rings.
Oh, they're fake rings.
The other ones are fake rings. The one that was like all together. Those are replica rings that they give to the fans.
Oh, okay.
But now I got a real one with real gold on there. And,
Oh, really?
and some stones, some silver, and of course the name engraving. So
That's awesome. That's crazy.
it's nice to finally get to that point.
That's
of,
so cool.
just blessed.
Imagine being like a huge fan of a team or anything, and getting the opportunity to do things like that. Like that's so cool. And I feel like you, especially since you've been a fan of them through their good, through their bad, like throughout the whole time. You know.
It's the Warriors. I got the Warriors.
Yeah, you look at him. We're at Disney. He's wearing a Warriors.
A Disney-esque type of Warriors championship shirt.
So that's super cool. I had another question too. We're both retro game collectors in a way. That's how we met. I mean, we met on Whatnot. We in a way sell retro games.
Sure.
What is it that you collect the most? What is it that you like to? Because I know from me, you purchased strategy guides.
Yes.
Which is how we actually met. I think we mentioned that in
through
the first.
strategy guides. Retro games. I used to work for FunCoLand.
Yeah,
and
you
I used
did
to get
mention
out.
that.
I worked for the last FunCoLand. And this retro game stores, there's not a lot of them anymore.
Yeah, I don't
So
think
during
they
that
exist
pandemic, I bought a ton of different retro games. I wanted to own a lot of Nintendo stuff, cartridge based. Sometimes boxes. They're all for keeps. Mostly all for keeps. But anything that I played and had a memory on, anything I rented, anything that I've seen at a Blockbuster, and I'm like, oh, I remember that one like box art.
Yeah.
I want my son and my kids to also grow up and know that they can play the actual real thing that Daddy played way back in the day.
Back in the day, yeah.
Not emulating it, but just the old actual real thing back in the day.
The hardware, the software, everything.
And that's why I have these custom cases where I put the game. You kind of sometimes not the boxes. There are those the old custom cases where you can look at the back.
Yeah.
And be like, oh, like what was this game about? And it's a great way for me to connect with the kids about like no win a prize, but also like them understanding what my love was in the beginning.
Interesting. So would you say you collect more in the retro game aspect of it?
Yeah, not really the CDs too much.
Not CDs too much?
Nintendo through GameCube is pretty much what I collect.
Okay.
The strategy guides are basically just another way to accompany those games.
Yeah, because normally they're always, back in the day.
They're hard.
If you don't know, like back in the day, there was no internet. There was not a lot of things that you can get information about the games that you're playing. For example, a game that I struggled a lot with was Majora's Mask. And I feel like if I didn't have the strategy guide for Majora's Mask, I probably would have never be in that game.
Right.
So
you don't have internet back in the day. You can't,
back in the day,
you
there
like
was
all
no
these
internet.
message boards. You kind of like go and ask someone. You go to a friend's house and you ask them how it is. Those guides were awesome and they're still going up in price. But I appreciate all the guides you're able to hook me up with.
Yeah,
some really cool stuff.
Whenever we find guides, man, I always try to hook them up with them. But all right, we're gonna move a little bit. But throughout your years of collecting, what would you say would be like your most proud piece, or maybe not even your proud piece, but maybe like the item that you're the most?
Oh, that's
like,
easy.
Which one is it? I'm curious.
That's easy. It was a picture, and alongside I have a signed DS with it.
Oh, I'm curious.
With Shigeru Miyamoto, who created Mario, Zelda,
Oh, man, I'm
Donkey
jealous.
Kong, Star Fox.
Yeah.
And I actually had a friend, he's called a video game pianist. He plays piano really fast
Does
for
he?
video game stuff. And he was doing a concert. Miyamoto was at the concert.
Oh.
And I said, dude, like Miyamoto's over there. You want me to introduce you? I don't even know Shigeru Miyamoto at all, Miyamoto-san.
Yeah.
But Miyamoto-san was pretty much the guy who got me into video games.
Yes, likewise.
Which helped me get into what my job is now.
Yeah.
So easy. That was easy. Just a picture of
Man.
Miyamoto.
That's a goal of mine. I would love to one day hopefully get something signed by Miyamoto.
He's the Walt Disney of video games.
Exactly. If you don't know who Shigeru Miyamoto is, he literally is the creator of Mario. Like literally the creator
Zelda.
of Zelda.
Zelda's my favorite game series.
Mine too.
I can't believe I forgot that. Zelda. But so to all time, that's probably my number one, like prized possession. Number two, and I'm not gonna say number two, but more recently,
Okay.
I got a signed box of this American Tail 5.0 game for GBA.
Okay.
And it's signed by Don Bluth.
Who's Don Bluth?
Don Bluth is pretty much second, in my opinion, for American animators to Disney. He used to work for Disney, worked on some big stuff, but he's known for the American Tail The Land Before Time,
Oh, I love that
Rescuers,
movie.
Thumbelina, All Dogs Go to Heaven.
Oh, dang.
So you sign a game, and like a game store reached out and said like they wanted to sell it, and you don't see those things often.
Yeah, no.
Just one of one.
Yeah.
So I was lucky to get it, and that's probably like my most prized like recent thing that I
Hey,
got.
that's crazy. No. To me, the Shigeru Miyamoto signed item, that would be my number one. I mean, how can you top that?
It's bonkers.
Yeah.
Bonkers.
That's crazy. I know you have told me in the past that you've gotten to like meet some of the Nintendo people through at the conventions and stuff
Yes,
like that.
yeah.
So
Another fun one is Charles Martinet. He's the
Yeah.
voice of Mario.
yeah.
He goes the wee woohoo
Yeah,
kind of like
yeah.
thing. I got he lives near San Francisco.
Oh, does he?
In a city called Sausalito.
Okay.
So when I was working for the Nintendo website, a friend of a friend knew him. We had lunch in San Francisco, and that was a hell of an experience. Going to an Italian restaurant, basically with Mario, and just kind of just jibber jabbering about like how we got into the industry. And I'm glad that like he's been a big part of the industry so far. So it can't happen to a nicer guy.
Yeah.
And yeah, the Super Mario movie, he's part of that. Coming in March.
Oh, I know. I did see that. He's not the voice of Mario, but
Not the voice. That's Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt.
A lot of people think he should have been.
Okay, how do you feel about Chris Pratt playing Mario?
Obviously,
I've
you
seen
wish.
online that it's
You
been-
obviously wish that Charles Martinet could have done it.
Yeah,
But Charles also isn't well known globally.
correct.
Not, I mean, if you bring him to, drop him in like the center of Japan,
Yeah.
some people might not even know who he is.
Correct,
Until he
yeah.
starts talking. Chris Pratt's more well known. Jurassic Park did really well, mostly because of Chris Pratt and
Yeah.
people knowing like him from different things, like Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
So, he's still going to be involved with it somehow, and I can't knock on Chris Pratt until
we see the movie.
see the movie, and it
Yeah,
might just
correct.
end up being just fine. It would just become second nature.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's glad that Charles at least is a part of it, and he deserves all of his credit for
No, I feel like
everything he's done.
I think I'm supposed to be at Collecticon in February,
Okay.
which is there, and he's supposed to be there. So I'm gonna find something Mario related in my collection.
Yeah.
and I'm gonna definitely get him to sign it.
Yeah, he'll definitely sign it.
Yeah.
Super nice. Super
so
nice.
I can't wait to do that. But I think, for sure, I agree with you. I feel like not a lot of people really know who he really is in
Right.
the industry.
Right.
So the fact that someone with a big name like Chris Pratt is involved in the project, I think it's gonna, maybe bring more eyes into the Nintendo.
And you gotta remember too, it's like this could be another movie. I mean, this could be one of many movies that come down the
Correct.
line.
Yeah.
Maybe they wanted to go with someone younger. Maybe they also wanted to just make sure that person develops into the role.
Correct.
Charles Martinet is Mario.
Yeah.
Well, let's give Chris a chance. See what
Yeah,
happens.
let's see. Because I did see that in the internet. It was so divided about, there was memes, there was all these different things about him playing the
That
Mario.
happens when you have something so sacred and people just like really like. That's the only thing that they know.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
like replacing the voice of Bart Simpson. You really know it's like
Yeah.
exactly who it is.
Exactly.
So, let the fans calm down until eventually they see the movie. Then whatever they think is their opinion.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to hopefully my son and my daughter can attend. That will be the first movie that they've seen post pandemic
Oh, is
that
it?
they'll actually be able to see in a theater.
You didn't get a chance to see the new Avatar movie or anything like that?
I did.
You did?
Me and my
Okay.
wife did.
Okay.
I-
But now
for-
you're
with my son, we saw. I'm hitting my mic now. I saw Ghostbusters in a private theater. I rented out the theater,
Yeah.
but my daughter hasn't seen it.
Okay.
So Super Mario. And I'm glad that my son's a huge Minions fan.
Yeah.
Because it's made by Illumination. So
So it's the same studio who's making that new Mario movie.
exactly. So
Yeah.
we'll get to see a little bit of that dynamic of being somewhat similar and that kind of fun, whimsical,
Yeah.
silly stuff they do.
No, I'm excited. All right, it seems like we're about to enter into the.
Are we getting close? Come on, check it out. Come on, check it out. Check it out.
Let's go. Let's
What
go
we
here.
got? And it is
More hallways.
another corner.
No. We're still got some time, but. All
And here
right.
it is.
We're
And hold on, I'm gonna check it again.
We got way more hallways. So.
And it's
Okay, perfect. But after this, I think
another
we-
corner.
We're gonna probably do some other plays. We'll wrap up the conversation there, and then yeah. So we'll let you guys know what we think about this ride after this.
I've seen you. It's a face reveal for a
For-
lot of people at Whatnot.
Yeah, actually, I haven't really shown my face on Whatnot. Interesting.
But a lot of fun, man.
Nah.
Oh, thanks for having me on.
Dude, I appreciate you a ton, man. And I'm super excited. We're going to be doing this with a bunch of different guests, but what a cool episode to have you as the first guest.
Yeah, I am humbled. I really do appreciate it. And I think there's some great episodes you're probably going to have in the future.
Yeah, no, we have a lot of cool people coming up. But to end things out, what do you have coming up? What's tell the people.
So the reason why I'm here in Orlando is
Okay.
I'm promoting the upcoming EA Sports PGA Tour.
Okay.
Comes out March 24th on PS5, Xbox, Series S, X, and PC.
Okay.
It's going to be pretty much the most legit and authentic golf game that we've ever made, and I can't wait for it.
That's exciting. That sounds awesome. So if you guys don't know, I'll put Raza's information in the link, and we'll put his social somewhere. But brother, thank you so much, man.
Appreciate it, bro.
Dude, it was a blast, man.
Absolutely.
And guys, stay tuned. This is the first episode, but there's a ton more to come.
Can't wait. Take
Can't
care,
wait.
y'all.
Take care, guys.
See ya.